Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to welcome you to our Best Start regional meeting for September that came so quickly. It is crazy that it's already September and the weather is changed on us. So we are falling into fall. I hope everyone is situated, get comfortable. We have an awesome meeting. Make sure you sign in. I gather most of you have signed in already, but if you have not, our ladies are going through with the tablets. Go ahead and sign in, or you can use the QR code on your table. You can go ahead and get signed in that way. If you are in need of translation, our people in the back, you can get signed. Carlos and Carmen, wave your hands. If you need translation, you can go ahead and get your earplugs and get signed in with that.
Snacks. They haven't gotten their snacks.
If you haven't gotten snacks, make sure you do that. If you have not signed in, make sure you do that.
You want me to answer that for you? Okay.
So again, make sure you sign in. We are recording this. Next slide. Please choose your language. Our interpreters, again, are Carmen and Carlos in the back. And everyone, if you need to get an earplug, because they will translate into Spanish and English and English and Spanish. So sometimes what we're talking about might be spoken in Spanish, then you can get the translation if you don't speak Spanish. I myself am learning a really difficult. That's right, that's right. So these that's right, that's right. I know. I'm so proud of myself.
You should be,
Anyway, all right, so we are recording this session. We're gonna be recording. So thank you for your cooperation. What you're doing today is so important. So this is what our agenda is gonna look like today. We have some things that we are going to add to it. We're gonna do a check-in after we go through a few things in our meeting agreements, but we just wanna see how everyone is landing today. So, go to the next slide, Sylvia. I want to talk about our Children's Bureau, All for Kids. This is our new email. So you might have noticed, we are no longer Children's Bureau, but we are now called, our agency is now called, All for Kids. So you can take a snapshot picture of that, but this is our attendee emails. It now ends with All for Kids. If you need to email our team, you can get that through Best Start at All for Kids. Next slide, please. So today, we're going to be really actively doing some things. I'm glad that you are all here. We're still focused on building up our community and gaining a clearer understanding of our Best Start initiative. We want to make sure that a clear understanding is with you for our partnership objectives, goals, as it relates to our CCA, our community change agenda. So we're going to make sure we're going to keep pressing that because that is important that we all have clarity about what is that. And then we're going to get a clear understanding as we begin to make action plans. That's why you're here today, and it's time to get busy. We're gonna get busy today. So our next slide, I'm gonna have Gloria come up, and Gloria's gonna read our meeting agreements. Awesome, come on, Ms. Gloria. And by the way, Gloria did our play groups yesterday. And I heard she did an awesome job.
She sure did.
She was shocked. And she has her help there, Angie.
I know.
Our superstar who's gonna be taking.
Our little
that
mascot.
place. You know, I'm just saying, she's gonna make us rich. Just remember me. First me and then you.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, guys,
That makes
well, welcome, thank you. So our agreements are be punctual, stay present and engaged on topic. Put the focus on the future, be authentic yourself. One person speaks at a time, agree to disagree respectfully. Finish your sentence, not your paragraph, set up, step back. Exercise confidentiality when necessary, be patient and open to technology. Keep your video on if possible. Assume positive intentions, a rainy day will make flowers. Separate persons from the role, be creative and have fun. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. So, before we do our recap, I'm gonna have you do just a brief check-in. This is important because we come from different, walks of life where things are happening in our day-to-day life every day. We're going, we're doing, we're moving. But sometimes it's good to laugh and be present. So with those who are at your table, I want you to just share, and we're only gonna take 5 minutes to do this. Just go around, just briefly. Again, use a sentence, not a paragraph. But I just want you to share, how are you feeling this morning? Not how you doing, but how you feeling. Locate those feelings. What is your objective for coming here today? What do you hope to gain by being here at the Best Start Regional meeting today? And who can you go to for support? Whatever that looks like. Who do you go to as your person or people or village of support? So I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to do that. Go ahead and start that right now. Just talk amongst yourself at your table, go around. Introduce yourself. If you don't know somebody, smile at somebody. That's what I have to do at church. Listen, smile at your neighbor and say, hi, I'm so happy to see you today. So just smile at somebody you don't know and introduce yourself.
I'm feeling good. I'm killing it. Oh, well, Lord, as long as I don't die in the process. And so I have you do the recap. Okay. And it was all non-sugar. Am I typing? I saw yours. I'm like, I want some of that. My family looked at me and they're like, only one who understood me was my daughter-in-law who had the little kids and she buying for the baby. That's what I'm saying. Like, so is this less sugar? Is that what it is? Oh, yeah, it's a spicy. It's just- no, it's good. Okay, if I can take it, I can take it. Yeah, right. No, it was. I could take it, but it's not so late. Okay, it went to 10:15. What you think? Girl, they're not gonna record this. She okay? She's just feeling really sick. They said it's viral. And I woke up with the worst cramps. I wanted to throw up. I'm in pain. Yes. Sorry. I know. Last week I thought, oh, it didn't come. I'm done. No, so it said, bitch, please. That's what it said. This morning was like, yeah. So I was like, I told Stephanie, I said, I'm moving so slow. I'm in so much pain. I'll be there as soon as I can get there. Listen. Have you gone to the doctor? They talked about doing a partial hysterectomy. Not yet. That's what they did for me, because I was doing that. Poor Chad would come sometimes. Why do you have your head in the freezer? I'm like, don't do it, man. If you don't step off, don't judge me, brother. And he would just walk away. You know how Chad is. He just said, I'd be come in the kitchen and baby, my head be in the freezer. That's how connected y'all are. And he's like, babe, it's time. That's really connected. That's his soul. He would walk in though, and I'd be like, he's like,
I said, hey. Don't say nothing.
Better stop it.
Don't say nothing. That's her right here. I think you're right here. I see a lot of them. There, that lady over there, you the ladies. Much different. Yeah. So. Um. You can't have my job. You can have Omar. But you can have Omar. You ready, David? Ready? I'm ready when you are. Yes. Because there's so many.
All right, how are y'all doing? How's everybody feeling this morning? Are we doing okay? You get to know your table mates? Okay, so we got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna kind of use the word section off by yourself. You need to blend in, come in and maybe take a seat at this table and engage. Because I want everyone, we got work to do today. We're gonna do a brief recap of what happened last month and what we went through. I'm gonna have my co-part David come up here and go over some things with you.
Thank you. Right, so last time, unfortunately, we did not have an in-person meeting, which I believe was sorely missed. I do miss our meetings. It was all online. So all of our members online were able to see this one, but for those who did miss it, we're able to participate in our evening online meeting. To give a recap of what we went over, this is the stakeholder piece of what Best Start prioritizes. So essentially, within the Best Start initiative, we're seeking stakeholders that are relevant to our 0 to 5 discussion, right? In advocacy, in development, in childcare and education. So through this QR code, you're going to be able to see a list of those that our members were able to identify as relevant stakeholders within the Antelope Valley. So, and the point of this activity that we went through last time was to not only just identify stakeholders who are currently present, but to also identify those who are missing. So that's where we had that discussion, and we had a discussion as to what makes a relevant stakeholder as well. If you go to the next slide. And then we ultimately talked about how all of our efforts culminate into what we identify as system change. And for those who might need a slight refresher, is the system change is where we address root cause of issues so that we can move systems, right? So we don't choose to go after band-aid solutions. We don't go after temporary solutions or solutions that people can look back on and say, this just didn't work, we should just give up. So that is the point of everything that we're doing is very intentional. It's very strategic. which also can segue into what we're talking about today, but we are basically pursuing a very intentional strategy that basically makes it to which in the Antelope Valley, we're pursuing those deeper changes so that we're able to see it over time, not within just a couple of months span. So we can move on to the next one and we can talk about how systems change permeates throughout our regional meetings or through our Best Start. So we can see that in action, and we talked about how we saw it in action within our community building, within our community change agenda, our Best Start Academy, our capacity building efforts, our trainings and workshops. We have policy advocacy led by Carla, who's not here today, and access to information about that data. So we can move on to that. And then I'll pass this back to Darrell to introduce us to what we're doing today.
Okay.
So
Okay. No, go ahead.
And so, as you can see, and we have heard your voice. Many of you have come to us, when are we gonna get to work? When are we gonna do something? We've been meeting, you've been talking to us, when are we gonna do something? Well, we have been working, but we wanna make sure whatever we start, we able to finish it. We don't wanna just talk the talk, we wanna be able to walk the walk. So now, this is our boots on the ground, let's get busy. That's my instant hammer version.
Oh my God.
There's, okay, yeah, get it.
She just
No.
dated herself.
I dated myself because, some of y'all don't even know who MC Hammer was, but that's all right.
Latora, do you see how she can't behave?
So what we plan to do today, go to the next slide for me. Okay. This is our community change agenda. We heard you, we did voting, we've talked about it. Our focus now, we have identified our goals. And these are our objectives. Now we're at the places, how do we get to here? So our goal is all children have access to quality child care and early education that meet the unique needs of the child and family. We're focusing on that here in the Antelope Valley. So our ultimate objective, this is what we want. We want to increase child care program availability. Okay, because we've already done the data, we've done the data, it's a child care desert, everything is a desert in the Antelope Valley Desert. Everything that we need is like, it's indicative to, we live in a desert, so that's the desert. We don't have enough child care availability in the Antelope Valley. Increase continued operation of child care program. We want to make sure that those who are in place, stay in place. Those who want to do this kind of work, that they're able to be sustained and stay in place. And then we also want to increase use of specialized teaching curriculums. So we have strategic things that we want to do. These are our objectives. Now we need strategies. How do we use strategic plans and what tactics can we use to implement to make sure that all of this is met? So I'm gonna turn this portion to Stephanie.
Just to explain that, yeah.
Okay.
And then David, you'll explain what we're doing. Okay.
Well, how about you explain what we're doing first and then I'll.
Okay, I'm gonna have one of us.
He doesn't
I
need
think
it.
it's better to explain that. It'll make more sense.
Do you want me to go to the next slide?
I got voted off.
Yeah, you just got volunteered.
Okay, so this next piece is just defining strategy. Basically, as we're gonna be looking for strategies, we wanted to provide a quick reminder of what, makes a strategy. And so we define that as a strategy, an action plan that you'll take in the future to achieve a final end goal. Strategies help to define your long-term goals and how you go about achieving them. So that's our strategy. So if you guys remember, that's the overarching strat that we're pursuing. But then when we get into the specifics, the tactics that we're gonna be looking at are what we're gonna be looking at in our activity today. So that's where we're gonna be fleshing out really how we implement those strategies themselves. So we define that as the individual steps and actions that get
That's what she was saying.
to strategy. So in this business context, we have specific actions we take to implement the initiatives outlined within the strategy. So moving on from that, we're going to be doing an activity today. You guys have received worksheets, I believe, everybody to the table, that outlines these strategies. So each table is gonna have one strategy that we are going to flesh out with tactics on how to implement it. So we have stakeholder engagement and collaboration, we have policy advocacy and reform, data-driven analysis, pilot programs and capacity building alongside community engagement and education. So each table is gonna have something on their paper that outlines which one you guys are gonna be
The
working
circle.
with today.
Yeah, each table was circled what their strategy is.
So there should be circle right here. Going on to the next slide.
Nope. Sorry.
So this is just a quick overview of what this activity is gonna entail. So we're gonna discuss strategies assigned to your group. We're gonna have a facilitator come into your group as well to talk about it with you. We're gonna have to collaborate here to find these actionable tactics. As Jarrell said, we're tired of just kind of being in the background, going over maybe like theories or principles or strategies. We actually want to go out and we want to be boots on the ground, but we want to know how you guys think about it too, right? We don't want to move on without our partnership being in a drink. So this is how we're going to collaborate to find these tactics that we're going to
Yeah,
be
so
using.
this would only be
And
to
then
the
we're going to
policy.
develop concrete steps for actually, right? So same thing as I mentioned, we can go on to the next one.
Yes.
So this is the quick instructions here. So you're gonna be assigned the strategy
But
that
it would
we
be
already
the same
mentioned in
thing
your
in
group.
what
So we're
way?
gonna revise this
Just
and we're gonna outline 1 to 3
How do we
tactics,
engage?
right? So we're gonna really wanna think about it and we're gonna really
Yeah.
wanna be
What is the
mindful
same?
about these strategies,
What are the
about how
steps?
if we implement them,
Steps.
that we actually wanna pursue them. We wanna consider them, you know, are they realistic? Can we identify stakeholders who are involved? Can we identify resources that are involved? We want to really pursue this so that we set it up right the first time, I guess, right? But then we want to report back to the larger group and we can talk about maybe refining it and sharing out to, sharing our ideas out to our wider group. See if we have any other feedback that we get from individuals from other tables. So we can go on to the next, or actually we can stay there and then we can actually go on to our activity. We can commence it.
Maybe.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, that was
You have
a lot, but it was.
Oh, go to that, stay in that one, or stay in this one or the next one?
We can just stay here.
Any questions that you had? Did you need clarity about what was
I
being
think
clear?
two to like 11.
Get it?
10.
Don't be scared, raise your hand.
Every team member will go to a table and we'll start off the conversation. We're not gonna leave you alone.
We're not gonna just throw you out in one. But do you have any questions? But you need any clarification? We're gonna walk around, okay? So I'm gonna ask the two of you, find, if we have an empty chair at another table, come join us, because it's just the two of you. Come. Or Sylvia, yeah.
Policy.
Who has policy? Who has stakeholders? Raise your hand. Stakeholders are right. Who has policy? Policy back there.
I'm your girl.
Okay, stakeholders. You got David at your table. Community engagement here. Okay. All right. Data. Okay, where are my stakeholder people? Okay, I need somebody who's gonna volunteer.
Yeah, next time.
Nobody, but I think. You do it? So stay, why would you? You know what? That would be over. All that way.
Okay. Are there any other stakeholders? I think, and I will, which we are creating. And we know they are so, they work with, I got to come with you. I have worked on top of your started to help them. We have, we have worked with children like that. I and they as child care. Right those down. So in my house, I said, okay, we need to get them. I would get them. They need them actually. So that's where I am. Because we're all working for receive what's and if we work together, so we identify who are and I want all of us, how do we, that's what is happening? These stakeholders. Well, I mean, because, you know, first of all, do you know any other child care? So, do you know any child care? Do you know any families that have children that need child care or in the early years? So, invite them. And what are some other things that help them get involved on the app? Social media.
That's our. This, I mean, these keywords are. Right now. Is that what we're that would make a great way, and it's not serious stuff. The overall. So we have a big strategy. We have to see stakeholders and partners and families. Yes, that's what overall is the environment. But what like the what? Like you might be able to go on WhatsApp and or handle it. You might be able to, are you close to schools or you? Me, wrong, but that's what, but I just know that family. Someone that's been. It's not just like. The survey. A parent, provider, to go on that. to build up, and then we can start pushing the schedule, because ultimately, our goal is to do like each area. So as our community, the data we're having, we we've done it, we've done surveys, afterwards, the evidence is going to be working. There's gonna be 12 slots that are gonna be assigned. So we, I can find out what you regional center. One of the smoothies we know are the. Okay. And what others know? Yeah, well, absolutely. They're the ones that are deciding. Right. You know, yeah. Everybody's gonna think about that, and he's gonna think that everybody. You know. Not here. Okay, so you want to assess. What did they Right? Yeah. And so I get a driver.
Or like a representative. That we can have, we'll have somebody from, you know, the children.
And that's it. Our kids are not. So that's the case. It's not severe debate. So what do you want to bring that right there?
Because I'm going through it, like that's the thing I'm gonna emulate my job here, so it's like, well, you're treating like. So what we do is, how we're going to get it, so complicated with the offerings, like, maybe so, what you're I mean, I know.
We have to get where they are learning so that they are already ahead of the ball. And so. All of their It went over so well. That you give us the number, right? So now it's spread out, but if we. One spray, and say, you have to just. Let's come up with. Also, Yeah, it was on Sierra Highway where the old, where the. There used to be eight children. Where they had read about, they had story time, where the kids would go. Yes.
Yeah, it was because they didn't have our.
I don't think that I really-
So we try to get, the rest is here. Then they did some 2 years. So I remember having to teach them, I had to learn what my, we gotta do the questions. And I was like, yeah, right, but yeah, they can go to do that. And then this is yeah, we don't. Where the kids have a day. Also, Our organization. I can't speak about the boys, you know, YMCA, Okay, everyone. I want you to start, kind of wrapping up your discussion, because we're gonna have a report out of what you come up with so far. This discussion is going to continue until we have some things in place, and then we're going to move on it. However, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, down and down, give you 2 minutes to bring it on, to discuss who's gonna be reporting out.
But they got report out. That'll take until about 11:30.
Okay. They should be coming out 11. They should be coming out 11.
So you have 2 minutes. Discuss amongst yourself, who's gonna do the report out?
Yeah, I feel not in because I know that, like, they're, so at my kids' school, they have an after-school program. That's run by the I think it's by,
Okay, people, do you have your designated identified readout personnel, people who gonna speak for you? Cause we're gonna bring it on in. I know it was like so fast. We just got started. It's over already.
We
Yeah,
have so much more to say.
I know, we always got more to say. All right, if you can hear me, clap one. If you can hear me real good, clap 2 times. All right, so we're gonna start with, let's start with our first one, which is our stakeholders. I remember you from yesterday. I know you. She's like, I know you too, they gotta get away from you. No. We're gonna start with our first table, our stakeholders. Let's start with our stakeholders. So I'm gonna ask, I'll come to you. So we have our readout people. Tell me your name again. Oh, you both, Kelly and Fanny. So listen up. This is our, how do we engage stakeholders and keep them engaged? What do we do? So I'm gonna let Kelly and Fanny. Okay, here we go. Go. Okay.
Good morning. Today we have identified several stakeholders in a variety of different areas. So we'll go through the stakeholders first, and then we'll go through some of the tactics of how we'll engage and work with all of them. Some of the stakeholders that we identified were therapists that work specifically with ages 0 to 5, child care centers such as ABC, such as other groups within the community, childcare related organizations such as CCRC, regional centers, a variety of other ones. Families are also, or parents are also key stakeholders in the work that we do. School districts, so that because they have access to parent centers as well as TK programs. Community centers as well is another place that is of important use. Public spaces like libraries, and other organizations that work in these community resources.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly. So one of the tactics that we came up with out of the many is having in-person meetings or discussions, such as meet and greets among stakeholders, families, all of these organizations coming together. I know we discussed about networking through chats, maybe social media. Another tactic was having trainings or further professional development opportunities where we can further the curriculum development, present different projects such as consultations, maybe in like the TK setting or child care provider setting, having some more classroom management strategies. And this is coming from, the background of maybe they're having behavioral difficulties. How do we support these providers, or how do we support the families at home? Did I miss anything? Oh, and having also surveys or feedback from parents, from guests, from whoever is receiving this education or training, just to enhance further trainings in the future. I think that was it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a great discussion over here with the stakeholders, and just the information that they were discussing about early childhood education, even in TK, and how the need to upgrade that from just playing to a learning setting, and how we can even do pilot projects. So I love the discussion. Now, where's my policy advocacy and reform group? Policy advocacy and reform group. Did we have that group? Oh, right here. Yes. Who's gonna do your read out? This is like, wait. Who's gonna do your report out?
Okay, hi everybody, my name is Candy Ortega. So we had policy advocacy and reform. So we decided that this is where our voices heard and matters. And what our strategy will be is that have our parents meet with our elected officials, so we can start working on a bill for the future and hopefully take that to strike the rent. Who would be the people involved? It would be our elected politicians, parents, employees, school superintendents, local colleges, daycares, what resources are needed. So we're thinking maybe even talking to big corporate companies around the area. Our tactics, form coalitions to with our stakeholders, pilot programs, train on posters so they can be training and have presentations in our schools in order to get more stakeholders.
That's beautiful. Awesome job. Awesome job. Your voice was over here with Sylvia. All right, next, our data-driven analysis group. Who's gonna be our spokesperson? Is that?
Here, I'll start off actually, but I do want to give time for our residents to speak, enough for me. But and basically what our group was able to entail, to kind of put it succinctly, in case our residents want to talk about it a little bit more detail, is that within our tactic, we want to connect to our organizers, our organizations, I should say, our agencies, but are actually already collecting relevant Antelope Valley data already. we just don't know if we want to be able to disseminate that information, in order to do so, we want to actually create a space in which that's, able to be discussed. We can analyze it further, and we can actually use it as a basis for further evaluation as well. So, with that in mind, we haven't, further like surveys, interviews, testimonies that we can capture from those who we can see are relevant, stakeholders within that certified. I think it could be from our childcare providers who are actual, receivers of these services. So with that, we identify ways in which it doesn't have to be all, that doesn't have to be all quantitative. It doesn't have to be all numbers and graphs. We can actually look at people, stories, testimonies, things that actually really matter, people that really matter. We're looking at the children, we're looking at the families and their stories, right? We're able to capture that and bring it to those who are able to make change, those catalysts in the Antelope Valley. So then I'll actually share with Lori to elaborate a little bit more.
Thank you, David. And pretty much what we got from our parents here too, was a lot of passion of how, I think there's a mixed population of getting, noticed. So that passion that they all have shared was that they still feel that they're still not serving them. And that is something within a lot of our best agencies and, networking still find themselves like that they're grasping something, but yet there's still a need of a space of some sort of identification still missing. And with that being said, even speaking with the moms here too, is even having a simple workshop too of understanding data and how is it collected, why do we collect it? Because as parents, that we see graphs and pie graphs as well, we're like, well, how did that come about? How did that pie have 24%, this one has 5? So having a simple workshop is explaining how do we collect the data and making sure that we don't miss identifying certain identities. So that for the moms here are very passionate, and they all share a similar story of we're still not getting help. And if we're still having this conversation, we're still not getting help, it's because we're missing data. We're missing identifying certain services that are still needed. And closing with this, I think I believe myself and the moms here that were speaking, and they're very passionate, and I wish I could have this passion in other meetings too. But having me hear them, it is something that is still in need, and I would like to have an action like, let's get a workshop, David. Let's see if we can make this happen for our moms so they can understand. And when they go into agencies, that they know that their identity is being counted and is being appropriately collected. Thank you, guys. Oh, let's go ahead, Christine.
I would just like to give a shout out to Susan. One of the members of this table disclosed something, and I feel like she made her feel supported. And then she even shared her business part with us. So I feel like that's one of the reasons I love to come here to this meeting, because of the networking and the connections that you've made with the community partners and the members. So I just found that it was just beautiful to observe. So we appreciate you.
Y'all at that start. Y'all doing the most. Okay, our next one. What are we? Are you community engagement? Okay, come on, community engagement. Oh, come on. I know her.
Hello, I'm Shar from Foundation Christian Ministries. I'm the director of the youth department. We had the community engagement and education strategy, and there are a couple of things that we actually ended up coming to the table with. One is a right now solution, and another is a solution that is like the ultimate goal. So a couple of the things that we talked about is, one of the things we have to do is make sure that we can get the community involved. So how do we get the community involved? Oftentimes we will send out something like an email, and not everybody gets the email. We can put it on our websites, not everybody goes to our websites. So it's a matter of getting our boots on the ground and going into the spaces where the community actually is. So we need more visibility. And on top of us needing more visibility, We also need to be not just in places where we want to go, but we gotta go to places where the community actually is. So if that's going into schools, if that's going into childcare centers, if that's going into pediatricians' offices, and letting them know who we are, what we do, and these are some resources that we have available. So the right now solution is for us to maybe have just like a resource advocate that can go into these spaces and say, let's say for an after-school program. We're gonna go to an after-school program and we will be able to provide parents with all of the information that they need, because oftentimes you don't know all of the resources that are available. Just like this beautiful mom here said, there's a lady that sits at the table who gave information, because oftentimes our community is not comfortable with sharing what their situations are. So if we can create an environment where we can provide resources, we can provide information, and we can build rapport with our community so that we can give them whatever services they need. Now, how do we get them there, though? That's the question. Because oftentimes, our kids come home with flyers in their backpacks, and what do? Use it to throw our gum away, right? It's our gum throwaway paper. Or if we're not using it to throw our gum away, it is scratch paper for math or whatever the case is. But guess what we don't throw away? We don't throw away the things that say, here is an incentive for you. So if we incentivize having our parents, having our caregivers to come and get this information, that will get them to the table. And that will open their ears to be able to hear what we have, right? So that is the right now. Let's get them there. The ultimate goal, though, the plan that can go and can run on forever with community engagement is we have something that our beautiful friend Kelly came up with, which is a mobile service. Can you imagine a resource van that just rolls around town, parks in spaces, and in that resource van, there is a representative that can put in all of your information, give you an application, say, these are the resources that you qualified for, these are the resources that are available to you. And in addition to that, we also have a representative from one of our agencies that's there in that van with them to say, hey, I represent this agency and this is what we do. Because oftentimes we don't understand the extent of what Friends of the Children do. We don't understand the extent of CCRC, even Best Start. We don't know really the depth of it. But if you have an advocate that's sitting there, that's able to tell you in detail, almost like a one-on-one, and say, this is what we do. Come to our meeting, right? Or this is what we do, here's some information. You'll be able to not only reach the masses, because we're rolling up and down Palmdale Boulevard, we're rolling, we're hitting, Lake LA, Roseman, Cal City, and all of these places. And whether we're sitting in the parking lot of a church, whether we're sitting in the parking lot of a school, or listen, if we're sitting in the parking lot of Walmart, because I frequent there probably 3 times a week, one time with my children. But if we're sitting there and we just have something that says big resources, right? Come. And guess what? If you need a pack of diapers, we have something for you in the van. You don't have to go somewhere. So that's the ultimate goal.
Thank you so much, community engagement. So what is the plan for all of this? Boots on the ground. We gotta put things, and I love another idea that was brought up, even with the stakeholders, having engagement with the entities. How do we get them to the table so we can get some things rolling? Thank you all, the libraries, the resource centers, the parenting, what do you call them? Parent centers? Family centers, parent centers. These are stakeholders. These are a part of our community. This is going to move us to our community change agenda. Because now we engage here in the Antelope Valley. We start seeing, and Best Start is not just having meetings, but we are actually in the community and they're this is Best Start. Oh, wow, yeah. They're collaborating with this and this and this, and we're doing this. So that is why, and my segue is awesome. We need you.
In our
as
humble
board
opinion.
members. We have committees. Our committees are a part
The
of
sustainability
getting
one
these
is missing.
ideas in operation and running, boots on the ground. So the first committee is our data committee. That's David. I'm gonna let him come up and just share a little bit about the data, and then we have the welcome outreach and then the policy.
And we're
committee.
missing sustainability.
And we're missing sustainability.
I'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that. Sylvia will talk about that. David.
All right. So real quick, I'll talk about data.
Sustainability left
What
data.
we're talking
We have
about in
now.
our lovely table.
Tavier's
We
running.
need spaces for these kinds of discussions, like a time and place that we can actually further
Busy.
analyze the data that's relevant to us and this
Running
is
here,
live,
writing grants.
and I think within data committee, as we ramp up these projects, as we ramp up talking to stakeholders, as we ramp up looking at policy, as we ramp up looking at, the various childcare providers and those who are provided, this is gonna be a space in which any sort of research or data from ourselves or any sort of, analysis within the partnership occurs, right? And this is where our members have a chance to actually be hands-on, to actually look at data in a way that isn't really, too much, it isn't overwhelming. It's in a spot in which we have it set up to talk about it, right? And talking about it is more than good enough. As we continue in our system change plan. So then I'll actually move over to Stephanie, who's gonna talk about,
Policy committee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I run the Welcome Committee. So the Welcome Committee is really having you guys, the partnership, more hands-on in these meetings, as well as other things that we do at Best Start. I do want to give a quick shout out to the Welcome Committee, which you'll see Gloria over there. As well as, and then Kelly as well. And I also want to shout them out because, as I said, like the Welcome Committee is becoming more hands-on with the work. If you guys see this flyer, it's the Welcome Committee who designed this flyer. They're the ones that put the wording, when they go out to the community and advocate for Best Start. This is what they tell their friends, their families, their neighbors. Oops, sorry. Not me tearing up. No,
I'm not crying, you're crying.
As well as the design, they really, were hands-on this flyer. So this is like just an example of what the Welcome Committee does. We're meeting next Tuesday, so if you guys are interested, I highly recommend you guys participate. We'll be meeting from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. here. So we'll also provide a link at the end of our link tree, and you'll be able to find how to register there. We're also gonna have some of our Welcome Committee gonna be standing right there where the flyers are at, in case you guys are interested in any upcoming events that we're doing. They'll help you guys sign up, navigate the link tree a little bit better, so they'll be there as well after the meeting,
Starting
okay?
lineup meeting.
And then,
I
well,
think at
Carla's not here. Is
I'll
there
do it.
anything specific?
Good morning, everyone. I will, our policy analyst and, partnership lead, unfortunately, Carla is not here today, but the policy committee really has gotten off to a really good start. They've been working a lot on what are some of the policies, what are some of the advocacy that, we want to do as Best Start. And so one of the things that we're doing with the committees is that we come up with a lot of different ideas, a lot of different areas that we want to focus on. And then it gets brought to the partnership at large, and then the partnership ends up voting on some stuff, what are the things we want to do. So that's kind of like what we're doing, with the policy. There's one committee that they left out, and my feelings are hurt, but it's the sustainability committee. And why it's important that we have a sustainability committee is that, as many of you are aware, we are funded by First 5 LA, and we're funded by the tobacco tax. And because less and less people are smoking, which is a good thing, but less and less money is coming in. And so we know that funding could be done by next year, the year after. We're not, First 5 has no clue right now. But so why we wanted to establish a sustainability committee is that we wanted to make sure that the work that Best Start is doing, the work that this community is doing, continues to happen. So what the sustainability committee is doing is looking at different types of funding, different types of grants. How do we get corporations to sponsor? How do we get other ways of making sure that the work continues? even if First Five LA says the funding is done, how do we continue working? And one of our committee leads is, Tavier Isles, who is a phenomenal, grant writer. Let me just give you an example. Best Start did grants last year, and we did $8,000 grants for different, community organizations. She took the 8,000, she worked with that 8,000, worked on different grants, she got $5 million to come to the Antelope Valley. So she's our key, lead to the sustainability, committee, and she's always up in Sacramento. She's also huge in policy. But these are just examples of what we're doing in the different committees, and we would love to hear from, because you guys may have an idea that we haven't even thought about, you know? And so your voice is really, really important, to be part of these committees. So if you're interested, you know, we, like, Steph said, we're gonna be sharing the link, and, we'll be sharing when the next meeting is for sustainability, if anyone is interested.
Awesome.
All
Announcements.
right. We are at that place of community announcements. We're sliding in the home, y'all. But there are some things I just wanted to make sure, we wanted to make sure that you were aware of here in the Antelope Valley. Can you go to the?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Skip 2 slides.
It's
Two.
Alex will be here soon to announce that.
Okay. All right. This is our best start, and you can scan our QR code. So what we've done, we recognized and we heard the need of the community. We recognize that everyone can't get here on a Thursday morning from 10 to 12 because there are community workers, there are also child care providers who want to be here but can't. So we developed a Zoom on the third Tuesday. We were doing it, you know, on one day, but we said, no, let's do it on a Tuesday evening. So now, if you can't attend in person, you can attend online on Zoom on Tuesday. So we just had one this past Tuesday, and we did the same identical thing with them. And it was an awesome turnout as well as feedback about strategizing and coming up with some tactics that we can address in certain areas. So this is our flyer. You can scan that QR code if you want to attend that. If you can't come on a Thursday morning, on a third Thursday, you are invited to join us every third Tuesday. And when you sign in to our LinkedIn, Linktree, I was about to say LinkedIn. Y'all looking for jobs? Linktree, you can join us and get that Zoom link. So.
Yeah.
Next slide. Okay, also our Antelope Valley stakeholders convening will be taking place on September the 25th. So key things that stakeholders, my table of stakeholders, we're going to be inviting key people, key stakeholders to come to this. If you know of any stakeholders like we listed, we can invite them. We want them here because we need their input so we can begin to collaborate with these stakeholders and what we as our Best Start AV want to do with our CCA, and we need their input and their collaboration. So we're having that, and you are welcome to attend that as well. Next slide.
You want me to talk about that?
Yes, come on, Stephanie.
So this one is, we're partnering with Habitat for Humanity. We're having a workshop. So this one will be Thursday, October 3rd. And what we're really gonna do in this workshop is to learn more about Habitat for Humanity mission. Also, how to get, learning opportunities for home ownership. Also, they'll be discussing how you guys could get involved with Habitat for Humanity. This will be, Kids in Colors Daycare. So that is at East Palmdale, right across the street from Palmdale High School. So that is where this is going to be happening, again, Thursday, October 3rd. You can register using, scanning the QR code, which leads to the Linktree. Again, if you guys are interested in anything that Mayor Durrell just mentioned, the Welcome Committee will be back there assisting anybody who needs help signing up or signing in if you didn't sign in today. So.
Okay. Okay. Also,
We have advocacy services that are available and how to navigate through systems of care. If you know anyone that would benefit from this, here's the QR code. You can scan that to submit a self-referral or just gain information on healthcare, regional center, early childhood education materials, linkage to services, any services that might be beneficial for families. There's also coming up in October, a wellness fair. It's called Matters of the Heart. So that's gonna be October the 19th. Again, free groceries, free diapers, and eyeglasses. I thought that was really cool. So, it's a free event. And it's CAASA. So the event is free and you can get all of that. It will be on, Palmdale, at the Palmdale Academy Charter School. So, yeah, next slide. If you can. Our sustainability, our stakeholders. Child Care Resource Center has an early childhood apprenticeship program in the Antelope Valley. And I know this is important. If you're interested in becoming a part of or having a career in early childhood learning care, they are having an apprenticeship, a paid apprenticeship program. It's an exciting 18-month earn and learn opportunity with free college coursework and paid training in early childhood. This goes along with our objective, our goal. We want more child care providers that can be sustained. We want that. So this is a program.
Yes, I can say something when you're done.
Okay, all right. It doesn't have an age.
And so it's
18 months.
But, I think it's, you have to be 18.
At least 18, yeah, not 16, but that's 18 and over. If they're interested in that. Scan that QR code, get that information. It's an interest form. Thank you. Yeah, that's important.
I'll do that right now.
Okay, Sylvia?
Yeah, I'm gonna, Alex is here so we can have Alex.
Oh, Alex.
Alex can present.
Go back, yeah. There he is.
There's Alex.
Come on, Alex.
Welcome, Alex.
Welcome. We've been waiting for you, Alex. No pressure, brother. No pressure. Everybody just look at Alex. Everybody trying to say, hi, Alex. Come on, Alex. He is from our All for Kids, so he's gonna introduce his program and tell us about it a little bit. You don't gonna need that?
Yeah, I got a picture.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Alex.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
We got that.
We got it.
So, my name is Alex Oponye, Children's Bureau. I'm here to talk to you about our intensive day program for our little kids, 3 to 6, who experience behavioral, challenges at home, in schools, in the community, many. Part of what we provide is to give them an opportunity to co-mingle with other children who also have similar, behavior or similar challenges in the community or at home. Part of what you see, is what we do deal with while they are in the program is a 3-month cycle program. They are eligible for a second cycle depending on how their treatment is working. We also try to collaborate, with the families, the foster parent, the caregiver, whoever is responsible for the child. We take, we bring you in for a parenting, support group class, so you can be able to talk to the therapist. And here is one of our therapists who is also here. They also do a weekly of that with you, or if you're not able to participate, weekly, they can do a collateral with you over the phone, just to make sure things are working well at home, with you. With your consent, they are also able to speak to the school if you give them consent, to speak to the school on what is going on, how treatment is working. Part of what we've also experienced in our program, because it's very structured, is intimate. The kiddos begin to learn, compliance through, therapeutic structure and engagement. every part of engagement leads to an activity that is treatment-based and is also offering them an opportunity to become an individual of who they need to be. We are not curing everything. Okay, let me put that out there. But we do work with all symptoms of behavior that is common. And we try to help alleviate those symptoms as much as, they are working in treatment. And as much as the family is also participating in treatment, they both go together. And we've seen quite a number of our kiddos that graduate out of the program significantly go home with less of the symptoms they came with, and they be able to function back in the community and in school. So our goal today is to give you that opportunity to ask some questions if you have some, and if you feel comfortable, to share. If you have a loved one that is going through, behavioral challenges, we could equally, listen and then give you a little bit of tips of what we do with those kind of videos in the program. Am I missing? They said we got 5 minutes, so I'm breezing through it.
You're good, you're good.
I have a question.
Yes, you can. Any questions for Alex?
And we'll make sure that, we'll continue having some of these flyers. There's also flyers in the front lobby area.
So 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have some flyers. If anyone's interested and wants to have any of the information, we'll have the contact.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Oh,
Alex.
there's a question. I can answer. She was asking what kind of, like, if they need to have certain symptoms or things like that. Son los que pueden tener problemas de conducta, pueden necesitar ayuda terapéutica, tal vez necesitan, depende si tienen hiperactividad o diferentes cosas. Pero normalmente antes de empezar les hacen un asesoramiento para poder ver qué es lo que necesitan.
That was my question. Do you do the assessment process as well? And then,
Yes.
So a lot of our referrals, we get them through schools, through foster, and even self-referrals, and a lot of the time it's, aggressive behaviors, vicinity, things that typically would get really trouble in home or in the schools, and that's what we work on, providing the structure, providing the therapeutic, sorry, I'm not, providing the therapeutic, intervention so that we are able to help them. And we also collaborate with the parents of the school so that we make sure we're all on the same team and that we can help support these kiddos and, like you said, be able to function in a better way in the community. But like we said, we don't fix all behaviors, but what we do is help manage and support the families when we are.
And you'll find the information on the flyer. It'll have the referral number, right?
Yes.
And so you'll contact the referral number, and then they'll get you set up with the process of what has to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being
Thank you,
here.
Alex.
I also want to take a few minutes, I know that we have a lot of new people here today. So I really wanted to take the time to welcome you. We are so excited to see new faces. Your voice matters. Your voice is important here. And I just wanted to give you a little story of what Best Start is and how we came to be about where we are right now. So 2 years ago, we had a very small Best Start community. And we used to have Best Start Palmdale and Best Start Lancaster. And so what our community decided is that the Antelope Valley is not made up of just Palmdale and Lancaster. The Antelope Valley is made up of so many different other little cities. And so we decided that we were gonna make this be Best Start Antelope Valley. And so what we did at that point, we also realized that we needed to build a new foundation. So for about 1.5 years, we spent building our foundation, talking about what our framework, what theories were we using to do the work. When we're talking about rural education, when we're talking about community and rural community engagement, So we spent, like, it almost felt like we were in school for about a year, but we were solidifying our foundation. Because if we didn't solidify our foundation, we could just stack things up on top and we would fall apart and start all over. So we really did our framework, and a lot of the community was involved in it. There was a lot of just learning and input in that process. After we built our foundation, we decided that the most important thing that we needed to do for the last year was really focus on capacity building. And capacity building has been instrumental, and there's a lot of you here who have been part of this capacity building. What does that really mean? Is that although we weren't doing hands-on projects that you could say, oh, we built a garden or we did this, what we did with capacity building is we first had to create our community change agenda and start working around that. So we decided that as we focus on childcare and early childhood education, we knew that there has to be some vital trainings that had to come in part. And so what we did is that we brought in training such as the 0 to 3 brain development. And it's a training that was highly expensive. And but our goal was that once we got a group of residents trained to become trainers, then we wouldn't have to go pay $25,000 for that training. Now we had our own community members that could train it and use our community and our experiences to get a better understanding of that. We also did several cohorts of the trauma-informed Antelope Valley, and that was huge because we know that as a rural community, we've experienced a lot of trauma here. And a lot of us have our own personal trauma, childhood trauma. Some of us came from other countries. And so, that also, we have a lot of traumatic experiences with it. So we really wanted to work on ourselves. We really wanted to work on our community. And those are just two of the trainings. We had baby signs. We had help me out, people, because I'm drawing a blank. There was all nonviolent parenting. We also did boarding the bus is getting kids ready for preschool. So we've been doing a lot of the capacity building so that you could have the tools to now take those wherever you go, you'll be able to use the resources or the information. And that's why when Narelle said now we're at the point where this kind of activity starts happening. Now we're really gonna get into a different kind of action because we've been in action, we've been in learning action. And now we can learn from each other, but now we're gonna start seeing some, things happening because nobody was seeing necessarily, not everybody was attending, every training, but we also created, and some of the people that are here are part of this. We created a learning coalition. It's called Starting Lineup. And we have 18 people in this coalition who have been through at least 3 or 4 of our trainings. And now this coalition, what we're doing is that we're taking this out to the Antelope Valley. And our goal, like I said, is to make our residents be the voice of experience and the experts. And what we're doing now is that other organizations are now asking for some of our trainers to come and do some of the trainings at their organizations. And some of them are gonna get paid, so we wanna make consultants out of people, like you should just be doing this and then go do it for free. You're taking your time to learn all of this. This coalition, what we want is people to say like, hey, Sylvia, do you have any trainings on this? Well, it's funny you should ask, because here's our catalog of what we can train your organization on.
Right.
We've got from brain development, we have the nutrition courses that our Denise gave for prenatal nutrition, healthy eating. And so we're gonna continue all of that so that you guys are doing the training and we're not hiring people that aren't even from the Antelope Valley. We want to keep it local and to be about, we want Best Start to be about the community, for the community and with the community. So again, anybody that's new, welcome, and that's our little story on Best Start.
Whoa. Okay, all right. I love it.
Here you go.
Okay.
So, with that being, I love that we are creating within our own community the capacity to service where we live, where we work, where we worship, wherever you live here. And if you are trained to do it, and I love it, I see our own people going out, like Denise is getting invited all over the place and getting contracts. So we forgot to mention the baby signs.
I did say.
Did you say baby signs? Okay. True story, and I'm gonna let you go with this one. So we were in the baby signs training, learning to be baby, speaking to the babies in sign language and stuff. So I said, oh, I'm gonna learn this. I went over to, what was the Target, and there was this little baby with his mom standing in front of him. He was going off, his crying and stuff. And so I started doing what I thought I learned in the baby signs, right? I'm like, oh, is that your mom? And the baby looked at me, he started crying, and went. I'm like, oh, snap. He was like a professional. And he started talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, yeah, you're beautiful. And he's like, and I'm like, and his mom's like, oh yeah, we watch Miss Rachel. I'm like, who the heck is Miss Rachel? Miss Rachel is on the children, and she teaches baby signs. I'm like, and the kid stops crying and starts talking to me, and I'm like, man, I'm adopted. So I said, be careful what you think, but we're teaching all of that. And but how great is that if we contract with our own community members to bring what we know, like we just finished our trauma informed AD, and we didn't bring an outsider. We brought our own Miss Osa from CCAB, and she was awesome. Well, she lives here. She works here. She knows our community. She can talk from our space of being AD residents. And that was just awesome. And I just love it. So I was like, yeah, we're building up our community. So anyways, follow us. This is our QR code. There's our email. Y'all kept saying all of that. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Linktree. So go to the next slide for me. That's it. Yeah. There you go. Oh yeah. Your voice matters. Register. Positive people. Okay, no. Vote. If you're not registered, go register. Make sure you vote. We can't tell you who to vote for, what to, but your voice, you're here, you're part of a community. What you say matters. So make sure you're heard at the voting podium.
And the deadline for registration is October 7th.
October 7th is the deadline. Talk to your peeps, your neighbors.
Register at the mailbox, register at the libraries.
Yeah. And push it. I was over at Target again. I was running this Sprouts, and some young kids were out there. Are you registered for it? I said, yeah, registered for it. Ask somebody. I'm a best start, baby. Yeah. They're like, oh, okay, now. I'm like, yeah, I saw that today. I know. But anyway, your voice matters. Please go vote. Next slide, please. It's about that time. The kiddos like, it's time to go, Mom. Okay. Please take a moment, scan that QR code, complete our survey. Just let us know what your thoughts were about today's meeting, what you got from it, what's your takeaway, what we can improve on. Just scan that QR code. We really value your feedback. It's important to us. We value that. That's it? Okay, and thank you for joining us. Now listen, we don't just bring you here and send you home. We're gonna feed you. But yeah, I know that should get a clap and a woo woo. Anyway, we're gonna dismiss by table. We're gonna ask you go to the back, grab a box of lunch. I think we have enough for everybody. But I'm gonna dismiss by table, so I'm gonna start with my table here. Go grab your lunch and you can, congregate, eat. Okay, Sylvia's gonna be in the back, meet her in the back. We're gonna go one table at a time so it's not overcrowded.
That is very sweet of you guys. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I mean, this was awesome.
I love it. Make sure you use that QR code. Yeah, give us a shout out, girl. Go.
Thank you, very appreciated. You guys make it so we can come over here. So I haven't been here in person in a while.
I'm ready. No, don't shut it. You have to say that. right, all right. You, table, you're just go ahead and grab me something. I table here. And then don't forget to visit our resource table, grab some flyers. Yeah. Don't forget to visit the resource table. We have flyers over there. Be careful, don't drop yourself. All right, ladies, y'all are dismissed. You can go in the back and get your lunch.
I just want to remind everybody too, that for future meetings, this is why it's really, really important for people to register so that we can get a
Make sure you register for our next meeting in October. We want to make sure we get enough food for you.
Yeah.
Go to our ministry and register.
And if you need help registering for the next meeting, the welcome committee is available to help with it.
Okay, very good. How do I stop recording? Are we still, are we recording? Did it stop?